We're about a month out from War Thunder's next major update, which is typically around the beginning of June, sometimes late May, and I personally expect the dev blogs to start within the next week or so, and if I had to guess, I would say the dev server would probably be around the first weekend of June, but that's a pretty big guess. While most updates seem to fall within the same week or two every year, the mid-year update seems to vary a bit more, though the last 2 years it was closer to mid-June. So in this video, I'll be going over what is likely to come this update based on some fairly reliable leaks, as well as giving some information about the vehicles. So as I'm sure most of you know, there are plenty of fake leak lists that get made, but there are two reliable leakers. One being Olivia, and the other being some Chinese guy whose name I'm not quite sure of. However, these two have a bit of a different style when it comes to what they leak. As for Olivia, she tends to leak things months or even years in advance. These seem to be vehicles, weapons, or even maps for the most part. As for the other leaker, they typically leak the vehicles of the next update just ahead of the first dev blog, about a week or so in advance. So the fact that the leak from them came out about a week ago also leads me to believe that the first dev blog should be coming out pretty soon, possibly even this week. Before I do get started, I wanted to thank my one and only channel member, Freezing Cold. So while the main stuff I want to go over is on that leak list I keep mentioning, I did want to talk about something from Olivia that has to do with what seems like a new Subtree. A few months ago now, she leaked that the TIE AV-8S would be coming to the game. As we saw in the last update, the TIE F5E was added as a squadron vehicle, so we could see a TIE Subtree for Japan. Planes for this tree could include stuff like the AV-8S already mentioned, the Gripen C and D, the Alpha Jet A, as well as various F-16s. This would add a few different planes capable of carrying various Fox 3 missiles, which is important as I doubt Gaijin will be giving the current F-15J AMRAAMs, at least from what I've heard them say. However, there is one little issue with the idea that a TIE Subtree could come next update, and that's that the leak list says that there will be a Subtree being added to France, and there's absolutely zero chance that there will be two completely separate Subtrees added in one update. I definitely think we will start to see more Subtrees in the future, and we very well may see a TIE Subtree later this year. Also, before I get into the leak list, if you guys could hit that subscribe button real quick, it'd be super helpful since I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by June. As you can see, this is the leak list that actually has a track record behind it. Of course, there will be and already are fake leak lists for this update like this one right here. And to be fair, it isn't the worst fake leak list I've seen, but while it's a possibility the FA-18 will be coming this update, especially if you believe in the Top Gun June patch, I feel like it's a bit of a stretch to say, let alone a premium FA-18 is coming. Not to say a premium Hornet would never come, but I highly doubt it would be coming right away. Back to the real list, we have a few different ground vehicles. For China, we have the TC-1L and the ZSL-92. For Great Britain, we have the Churchill AVRE and the Desert Warrior. And we have the Namur RCWS-30 for Israel, the USH-204GK, and the STRV-101R for Sweden. The Vextra TML-105 will be coming for France, and the Leopard 2A4M will come for Germany most likely. Russia will be getting the T-80UE-1 because of course they need yet another T-80, and the US will be getting the XM-800T. As for ships, the HMS Queen Mary will be coming to Great Britain, and while this bottom part is blacked out, my guess is that it's the French coastal fleet. This is the only possibility, as that is the only tree that France doesn't have, and it could especially make sense since this list does mention the new Benelux subtree. As for this new subtree, it will include at least air vehicles, which is primarily what I'll be talking about. As it is now, France has a pretty solid air tech tree, but with room for a whole line, it can get a whole lot better. If you didn't already know, Benelux stands for Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. Luxembourg doesn't exactly have a very large military, which does make sense due to its small size, so I'll mostly be talking about other aircraft from Belgium and the Netherlands. Early aircraft that could be added are planes like the various Spitfire variants and the Hurricane Mark I. Early jets like the F-84, F-84F, Meteor, CF-100, and the Hawker Hunter all could be added to this line. The F-104 could also be added, but where it gets more interesting is when you get to the later jets. The Netherlands used the NF5, which is a further development of the CF5, which is a Canadian-built modification of the F5. One of the modifications includes a 2-position nose gear, which allows for the nose to be higher up. This fairly simple change lowers the takeoff distance by 20%, which seems pretty big. They were all given refueling probes unlike the original F5A, among other avionics upgrades. Overall, the NF5 was just a generally upgraded F5, but it likely won't be all too different from the F5A or F5C we currently have in game, but it still will be nice to see more variants of planes like this. As for the current top tier jets that could be added, Belgium currently uses F-16A and B variants. This would mean yet another nation that will be able to have an F-16. However, at least some, if not all of the Belgian F-16s can use AMRAAMs, as at least some were upgraded to the MLU standard. This could mean that France could be getting both the Mica and the AMRAAM this update, which could be pretty interesting. In the last couple of years, Belgium has acquired a bunch of AIM-120C Block 8 variants, but I haven't been able to confirm if they've had any older versions of the AMRAAM. I would assume so, but I unfortunately can't be certain, at least from what I've been able to find. But due to the fact that the Belgian F-16s can use the AMRAAM, Gaijin could and most likely will give it an earlier AMRAAM. While I have said in the past that the 120C could come at the beginning, and I still do think it's possible, they may only add the 120A or B. Either way, it still looks like France could be getting a few different platforms to sling Fox 3s from. As for the Netherlands, they also had a few F-16As, but only around a quarter of their total fleet were ever upgraded to the MLU standard. While I can also assume that the Netherlands used earlier variants, I was able to find somewhat recent sales of the M120C to the Netherlands. I was able to find sales of both the M120C Block 7 as well as the M120C Block 8. I've already gone over this in another video, but this is also a point where Gaijin will probably need to start showing the different weapon blocks. They have started to show that on planes more recently, like F-16s, which is hopefully a sign that we'll start doing it for missiles as well. Early Block 120Cs have significantly different performance to the later blocks through various upgrades to the point where it's basically a completely different variant. Both the Netherlands and Belgium currently have F-35As with more on order. Of course, we won't see this for a few years, but when 5th generation jets do come, France will be able to get F-35s to compete. As of now, it seems that Belgium and the Netherlands only have been able to get their hands on the AIM-120C Block 8 at best, so France may never get the best AMRAAM, the AIM-120D, but who knows, that could change in the future. Both countries have also bought AIM-9X Block 2s, so their F-35s will be able to be equipped pretty well. I'm not totally sure if these 9Xs can go on the F-16s used by other nations or not, at least from what I can tell. I do like the expansion of subtrees, and I think it's a pretty good direction to take the game, as it will allow them to add a lot of content to not only fill the trees out, but to extend the life of the game. I'm considering doing a video about other possible subtrees that could come and the vehicles that could come with them, so let me know if you guys would like to see that. However, there are just a couple more planes I'd like to cover that are on this list. The first being a new variant of the AMX we got just a couple days ago. The AMX Ghibli is one of my favorite planes in the game currently since it's just a lot of fun generally. Despite the fact that it's a strike aircraft, it is fairly decent in a dogfight, especially with its wingtip mounted 9Ls. The AMX International that will be added could potentially be a premium, but I am just guessing a bit there. It does seem like something that could make sense as a premium since there is already a version in the tech tree, and since it's Brazil's version, that could make even more sense for a premium. Since it is the Brazilian variant, it could technically receive the MA1 Piranha or the A Darter, which are two pretty advanced infrared missiles, but I doubt we'll see these missiles yet in the first place, plus at the battle rating the AMX is at, it would be way too good of a missile. Either way, it could also get the 9L that the AMX we already has, so that'll be perfectly fine. The last plane we have here is the MiG-21 UPG, or more commonly known as the MiG-21 Bison. This version of the MiG-21 is a MiG-21 BIS that has avionics and weapons upgrades, so the flight performance should be about the same or a little bit worse due to being a little bit heavier, I believe, but it does get access to much better weapons than just the R60Ms the MiG-21 BIS gets in game now. It has a much better Copio radar, a jammer, a much newer HUD, multifunction display, as well as a helmet mounted sight. These will all be pretty nice to have, but the bigger upgrades are the weapons. The Bison gains the ability to use R73s, R77s, and the R27. From what I can find, it can only carry the R27R and the R27T, as the ER and the ET would be too heavy. Again, with the R77, from what I was able to find, it can only carry the base R77 and none of the upgraded variants like the R77-1. You can carry up to two R27s, one on each innermost pylon. The R77 and R73 can be carried on any pylon up to a maximum of 4 missiles total. If you opt to carry R60s on the outer pylons though, you can have a total of up to 6 missiles. In the leak, they say that the MiG-21 Bison will be going to Great Britain, and while this is a possibility as it was used by India, I'm thinking it's more likely to go to Russia. I believe this leaker has been wrong before about the country that vehicles will go to before, so we'll just have to see. To be fair, Great Britain is in desperate need of a better top tier premium, so it wouldn't be the worst choice. Either way, it would be interesting to see a premium introduced that could carry Fox 3s right away like that, and I'm interested to see if any other Fox 3 capable premiums are being added. I think this is looking to be a pretty good update from what I can see now, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. Especially when I've been waiting for Fox 3s for quite a while now, so I'm definitely ready to have a lot of fun with them. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you're still around.